You know, it's almost like your birthday with a package from China, so let's go. So the display, this looks nice. Very thin black bezel around it. I can tell you, I like it a lot. Loading up emulation, this preset of the device. Would not be, let's say, it would not be surprising that we do have like different emulator software in the future with something else. The rock chip that we have seen in many other devices, so that is in my opinion nothing really new. But however, when it comes to, let's say, the software, what can we actually play out of the box? So there's a lot of stuff we can play. Here we have PC Engine, so 8-bit, 16-bit, and I would not think this is going to be an issue whatsoever. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how everything like N64 will play, PlayStation Portable of course, PlayStation 1. We cannot really upscale, but I think a lot of devices nowadays can play PlayStation 1 without any problem. Arcade, Final Burn Alpha, and you know, there's all kinds of cool stuff. I do see a little bit of flickering on my camera at this point. I don't know why, because my camera has been set to 60 frames per second. And my screen, I think, is not 60 or something, because it's flickering. Okay, so pressing start will give you not a lot of options. So delock the system over here. Systems, information, that's it. There's no thing going on. Advanced has been disabled. Restore default settings and sound, and that's it. There's nothing much you can actually do with it. So let's get into some gaming, and I want to particularly focus on, let's say, the high-end stuff, because that is quite interesting. Because there we're going to have like a lot of overall less interesting performance. But maybe start off with some Sega Genesis. Another feature they implemented, and they absolutely nailed it with, is the search function. So let's say if you want to search for a game, it even remembers the less search. So let's say you want to be searching, and even going to make it favorite list if you want to. And you know, the way how this actually works is out of the box just great. So over here, search, let's say I want to have Street of Rage. So let's put in Street, pushing the accept, and here we can find all of the Street games. Man, that's like magic. The quick menu is kind of disappointing, and I mean particularly when there's not a lot of option. You do have quick load, quick save, you know, that's actually working fine. But how is it with the emulation? Let's get into that. We're only having one front-facing speaker, so I can tell you that it goes quite loud. Ooh, I hear stuttering. The display looks beautiful. The D-pad is very responsive. I like the analog stick. Yeah, it's great. So for gameplay overall experience, that's absolutely cool. Okay, let's do a quick test with something else. I just wanted to see how the joystick and also the D-pad responds when it comes to, let's say, the games, the fighting games in particular, because I would really love to play those. Okay, so that seems to be working fine. Okay, great. So let's get into the D-pad if I'm done with being dizzy. You know that always happens with me. Go away. Yeah, the D-pad is perfect. Yeah, the D-pad is perfect. So when it comes to playing fighting games, this thing is absolutely great. Where I'm not the biggest fan of, let's say, the overall form factor, it's absolutely great when it comes to, let's say, actually the D-pad and the analog stick and the positioning and everything else. Oh man, I'm going to be destroyed here. And this is a very interesting game to check out. So the emulation performance, it's just fantastic for N64, this game. It's going to be in hit or miss, and I will show you later on what I mean. Can just shoot the rocket at the guy. There we go, much better. So, but you can just see how I can just really enjoy myself. But you need to get used to the controls, and that has to do because of the horrible back buttons. And this is why I said this was absolutely an epic fail. Another thing is like, how do we actually play this? Because here we go, the problem is that when it comes to playing this, you can use a D-pad. You can just see both of them. But if you need games that we're actually going to be needing both, that's going to be an issue. But I don't want to get your eyes up for every single game. I just want to showcase, like with of course my favorite test bench, cruising the USA. And yeah, it's going to be stuttering nightmare because this game and many others like GoldenEye 007 and the more demanding ones. Okay, another problem we're facing is, okay, acceleration. That is mapped to the back button, but now I need to hold it. You know, this is what I mean, like it's completely unplayable. D-pad and analog stick have been configured correctly, but you know, this is unplayable. If I can hold it, let's say the shoulder button over here at the back what I mentioned before, it's going to be better, but this, no. No, this is just unplayable. Not only the emulation performance not great, but the configuration of the buttons at the back, this is just... Oh. I don't know if this is going to be the, let's say, the ultimate handheld or Game Boy Advance handheld solution, because I understand the resolution is going to be slightly different than the original one. But emulation performance wise, nothing to complain here. Already I mentioned a couple of times, the D-pad is amazing, but it also is the same when it comes to, let's say, playing these games. So for just playing Game Boy Advance games, emulation is great, good audio, absolutely, I love it. Another system I don't show that often on, let's say, the channel here is Neo Geo Pocket Color. Man, this is cool. Such a fun game. Metal Slug on this is so cool, absolutely. Where this is nothing near the Break Arcade version, this is so much fun to check out. Sometimes I wish I as a child I had the Neo Geo Pocket Color. I could like really enjoy myself with these games. And the Neo Geo Pocket has a lot of hidden gems like this. So let's move on to the Neo Geo Arcade with some viewpoint. 1, 2, 3. First time I've played this game, I completely like failed at it. It's such a difficult game. I'm also in a very unique experience, and those are the games that are the most fun. I can just play these games over and over again. Haha, there we go. But throughout the stage, it's going to be becoming more and more difficult. And emulation on these basic games run great, no problem whatsoever. But what you need to look out for, if you're getting into the MAME, yeah, Killer Instinct and Tekken, those games will not run. And of course there are so many cool MAME games that we can play on the go on this device. But the unfortunate part is that not the right emulator has been set on certain games like Blood Bros. I can just hear that it runs a little bit slower. No extra button has been mapped, just the 2 buttons that we're going to be needing. You know how it goes. Grease him, punch him in the balls. But performance is great, no upscaling is possible with this. But what I do want to, let's go to the PlayStation Portable, because that is going to be a challenge playing it on here. The annoying thing with PlayStation Portable is when you want to actually play something. And the reason why is that you can see the buttons are still in the screen, but they will go away. But every single time you're booting up, you will see them for some time. I don't know why they just remove them, because you don't need them at all. So first of all, when you're looking at some basic games, there are a lot of stuff you can actually play and enjoy. And games like this, no problem whatsoever. But with the PlayStation Portable, every single game will have black bars on top and at the bottom. I did notice that there is no configuration method possible. You can see when going into the menu every single time, it will show the buttons itself. Minor hiccups are normal, simply because of the chipset and everything else. So let's skip everything. Let's get into the gameplay. We do got some playable situation over here with some hiccups. So in this case, I think it's going to be more a situation that you can really enjoy PlayStation Portable, but it's going to be a hit or miss. The same situation like N64. The HDMI port, let's see how that actually works. So let's plug it in, when it's in the game. Let's see if it's going to be even booting up. Yep, it does give a signal over here. You can see it, the LED is turning on. Oh boy, it takes a very long time actually. But nothing is actually happening, no. Nope. Yep, there we go. I needed to reset. So in game, we cannot do that. So we need to get back to the game itself. You can see that it didn't, it didn't boot up in the game itself. So yeah, that's a downside. But let's play in game. Let's have some fun. And yep. So first of all, so I just love this thing for fighting games. It's going to be a great overall experience. Oh. Let's plug it out. Let's see what happens then. Let's see, man, it's switching between this is not a good idea. So that is something. Yep, it's going to be it's going to be rebooting again. Why I personally love the way how this thing looks. Yeah, it's not the best comfortable handheld out there. So where I'm not, let's say, a big fan of the back buttons, the overall, let's say, way how it feels in my hands, it's quite comfortable. The analog stick plays great and beautiful and very nicely, let's say, responsive D-pad. ABXY buttons feel nice. So when it comes to that, I am absolutely big fan of this thing. But the back buttons is a big downside. Having 3000 mAh battery will give you a very nice gameplay of a couple of hours. However, when you're looking at, let's say, the overall quality, yeah, is this really worth your money? Because we have so many different options out there, and the back buttons, I keep saying it, is a big downside. Let's say if you're going to play some N64. Let me know in the comments what do you think. Thank you all for watching, consider subscribing, and it would be great to see you in the next video.